Hello and welcome to What the F Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditas. Let's get to it. It's Wednesday, May 26, 2021. Welcome to day 127. Joe Biden directed the intelligence community to redouble its efforts to determine the origin of the coronavirus pandemic after a new report highlighted how 3 scientists at the Wuhan Institute of Virology were hospitalized in 2019 after developing symptoms consistent with COVID-19. Biden tasked the intelligence community with preparing a report within 90 days on their most up-to-date analysis of the origins of COVID-19, including whether it emerged from human contact with an infected animal or from a laboratory accident, in order to bring us closer to a definitive conclusion. In the statement, Biden said the majority of the intelligence community had already coalesced around these 2 scenarios, but do not believe there is sufficient information to assess one to be more likely than the other. Meanwhile, in New York, prosecutors convened a special grand jury to consider evidence in the criminal investigation into Trump's business dealings. The panel, convened by Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance, is expected to decide whether to indict Trump, executives at the Trump Organization, or the business itself. Vance's investigation has scrutinized Trump's relationship with his lenders and whether he manipulated the valuation of his assets for tax reasons. The grand jury will sit for 3 days a week for 6 months and will likely hear matters beyond the Trump Organization investigation. One advisor said there is a cloud of nerves hanging over Trump. Manhattan prosecutors also told at least one witness to prepare for grand jury testimony related to the criminal case against Trump, as well as his company and his executives. Moving on, U.S. troops and their NATO allies are set to be out of Afghanistan by early to mid-July, well ahead of Biden's September 11th deadline. The Pentagon, however, does not have a plan to counter terrorist threats from groups like Al-Qaeda or the Islamic State after troops leave, nor does it have a plan for ensuring the security of Kabul's international airport, which could jeopardize all diplomatic missions in Afghanistan. In addition, Defense Department officials have not secured agreements about repositioning American troops in nearby countries and have yet to decide whether American warplanes will continue to provide air support to Afghan forces to prevent cities from falling to the Taliban. And finally, Biden ousted 4 members of the Commission of Fine Arts, which is tasked with advising on matters of design and aesthetics in the nation's capital. The 7-member independent federal agency consisted entirely of commissioners appointed by Trump. Last year, Trump signed an executive order requiring beautiful architecture as the preferred style for federal buildings. And in the polls, Quinnipiac says 85% of Republicans would prefer to see candidates running for office that mostly agree with Trump. 66% of Republicans say they think Joe Biden's victory was not legitimate. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditas.